Welcome everybody to another BDA film analysis. In this broadcast we're going to be taking a look at the upcoming Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Julio Cesar Chavez fight that will be taking place on May the 6th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. This is an all-Mexican showdown right here between two offensive guys, and we're just going to take a look at some of their weaknesses, some of their strengths, and how they might play off against one another. So we're going to start off with the one and only Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Let's take a look at his strength on the inside and his chin. And you can see here, this is one of Chavez's best strengths and one of the things that has allowed him to come as far as he has in the sport, and that is his actual literal strength. He's a big dude. Here he is against Marco Antonio Rubio, just bullying him on the ropes, trying to do his best Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. impression here, Chavez Jr. that is. Look how he uses his shoulders, his big ass head, to push guys into a corner and just unload on them. And Rubio is a legitimate 54 pounder. I think that's where he started his career. And of course he grew into a middleweight later on, but he was no match for Chavez's strengths. Look at that. He's using those elbows, and here to see how he uses his shoulder to toss Rubio back and then hit him. Here he is against a legitimate middleweight, Andy Lee, and again, look at that. He places that big melon Easter Island head of his and backs Lee up. And here's the other thing, look at that. Chavez is not a sharp puncher, he's not an explosive puncher like Canelo, as we're going to see later on, but he is, because of his size and his strength, he is a thudding puncher. And here you can see how he breaks through Rubio's guard, and here's another thing, against Martinez. That size eventually wore Martinez, who is a very well-conditioned athlete. It wore him down. And this despite the fact that Chavez took some good punches from Martinez. Look at that. He almost had him in that round, in that last round. And like I said, this despite the fact that he took a lot of shots to the... Look at this. This was all previous to that 12th round, obviously. He took some hellacious punches from Martinez, but he was able to stand there, because that's the other thing. That's the other strength from Chavez, is his chin. And he's able to semi-block those shots or block them outright. And he doesn't take them as flush as he should. Now here you can see he takes the uppercut, but look at his positioning. Look at his stance. His chin is tucked. He's got his hands to his side. That is one of the reasons why he's able to take so many shots and just stay there, because he's not taking flush to the chin. Now here you see, we're going to take a look at his 1-2s and the body work. He's got a good 1-2, good long 1-2, strong 1-2s that eventually set up all the rest of the offense. But I'm just going to rewind this to show you how, see how he breaks through from Far's guard. And Fafar is a legitimate 175 pounder here. He's still able to break that guard. If he can break that guard, he might be able to break Canelo's guard. Now here he's throwing the 1-2, but with the right to the body. And that sets up that body attack, that vicious left hook he inherited from his father. Might just be, I'm going to rewind that, just look at his left hook. Look how much strength, and he really cocks that left hook and then boom, launches it in there. That's going to be his ace in the game. He throws the left hook about as well as anybody in the game right now. He might not be the best at a lot of things, but that left hook, let me tell you, if he can land it on Canelo and he can wear Canelo down, who's not going to be the bigger fighter for once in there, just might pay some dividends. Here is my favorite Julio Cesar Chavez combination. Just going to rewind that to illustrate. Now the Julio Cesar Chavez combination is made up of a left hook, left hook, right uppercut, left hook to the body. Chavez does that. His father used to do it. Canelo does it. Golovkin does it. It's a good way to open up an avenue to the body. Here he does the opposite. See, good variety of punches from Chavez Jr. He throws a left uppercut and then a right hook. And then he starts mixing it up. Look at that. Different combinations here. And that sets up everything for a big overhand right hand. Overhand right. Boom. I think that hurt Fonfara a little bit there. And again, those shots piercing a legitimate 175 pounder's guard. So if he can pierce that guard, he might just be able to pierce Canelo's guard. Here we're going to take a look at some of the feints. Feints to the body, feints to the body. Now guys, they don't know where the punch is coming from, or if a punch is coming at all. and that sets up, again, a variety of attack. We're going to take a look at some of the jabs to the body. After the feints, he starts going to the body. And then after that, he'll throw some right hands upstairs. When the guy, see that? The guy's looking for the jab upstairs, but now he's leading with right hands. Good overhand rights. Or he can throw them straight from the outside, from a long distance. Look at that. Long right, dips under it, rolls under it. Good long right hands. So he's got a good variety of attack. And then here you see how he, I'm gonna rewind that. See how he extends his right hand, feinting essentially as if he's about to throw a right hand, but then essentially he's throwing a left hook. Guys don't see it coming. He can also throw it to the body, as we're gonna see here. Boom. And those are hard left hooks. See here, I'm just gonna pause that. Actually, right there. See that? He's got good defense to the body too. He knows how to keep his elbows pinned to the body, and that's going to be crucial against Canelo, who, as we're going to see later on, also knows how to go to the body with devastating effect. So it's going to be imperative for Chavez Jr., if he wants to make it out of this fight alive, has to protect that body. Now, some of his weaknesses, and unfortunately there are a lot for Chavez, he's very open to those 1-2s. Look at that. See how he keeps his right hand, his left hand. That left hand, that's the way you block a right hook. But he just got caught with right hands and he's still keeping it there. Against Rubio too, look at that. Same positioning of the right hand. Here, he didn't even have it up. And here's the other thing about Chavez Jr. He's got a good guard, but you can't just keep that guard up and stand there in front of your opponent, because you're going to give him free shots. Eventually that guard is going to get pierced. Especially if you're fighting a boxer who's, I mean, these guys, they train for a living. They got 8-ounce, 10-ounce gloves on. They're always hitting the bag. So if you just stand in front of a guy, eventually the guard is going to start to give a little bit. It's like a wall. It's going to start to give. You start hammering it, right? And here, that's what, look at this. He's not catching him flush, but I mean, they're jarring his head, and that can wear a guy down. And it did wear him down against Fonfara. And here, because Fonfara is no Brian Vera, he's a legitimate 175-pounder, and he hurt Chavez. And look at this. Here, Chavez hits, and then he stands there, and he gets hit with a left hook. Again, here, punches, but he stays there. He has to move, but it's not in his. He's not wired for that. Here, a couple of jabs freeze him, and they force him to raise that guard. That's another interesting point here. Combinations freeze Chavez. They cause him to just put those hands up because he can't do anything else. He doesn't have the reflexes to move his head. And against Canelo, who's a very good combination puncher, as we're going to see later on, that could prove to be a little disastrous there. Another thing I don't like about Chavez is the way he just wades in there. See, because he's used to being the bigger guy. But look at that. He just walks forward and puts his head there and allows guys to hit him. And here Rubio figures it out. He takes a little step back, rolls off the ropes, and boom, catches him with a right uppercut. Here he overreaches Chavez, that is. See how he overreached with the right hand? Look at that positioning. Awful positioning right there. Gets caught with left hook in his barra, and then here again. Overreaches, and Rubio catches him with a counter right hand. And a lot of people wonder, well, how do you fight a guy who's always going forward? How do you keep him turning? Well, first of all, if you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can watch the film analysis we did on Timothy Bradley's footwork against Lamont Pearson, how he kept the pressure fighter turning and turning and turning. And one of the ways you do that is with just basic footwork, pivoting. Look at this. He's not running, Vera that is. Vera's not running. He's just keeping Chavez turning with basic pivots, then changes angles. Again, changes angles, punches, and then pivots away, turns Chavez. Beautiful work by Brian Vera. And here again, you see Rubio turning Chavez. Chavez allows him to do it. And here's the other problem with Chavez. See how he keeps his head down? Because he's just barging in with his head. He allows himself to be... He allows guys to lean on him and essentially turn him and get out of the way. Look at this. Rubio saying, thank you very much. I'll just get out of the way now. Pereira also does it too. Pivots to his right. Here's Chavez just... When he's tired, he just stays there and takes the shots. Look at this. Look at that head. And that's the other thing here. See the positioning he just waits in. Look at his gloves. He takes shots to the temple. Oh, and then uppercuts. That's a big no-no against Canelo's we're going to see later on. Look at these flush uppercuts. And this is during an exchange. Canelo has very good uppercuts. Now here's the reason why I pause here is look at Chavez's hand. He's guarding his chin, but he's leaving the whole top of the head on. Look at that. See? He leaves himself open to temple, shots to the temple. He's got a good chin, like I said, but those shots to the temple are gonna do him in, and they did do him in against Fonfara. Look at that, see? Right on the temple there. And it caused him to stumble around like a drunk, and then just drops. That's right. Those shots to the temple, he has to watch out. And then the other thing I don't like about Chavez Jr. is that stamina. He keeps his hands down. He gets tired. This is the 5th round against Rubio and just starts moving around. It's not doing anything. He gets tired way too easily. Now, of course, I have to sort of excuse that for Chavez because he does put everything into his shots. He's trying to hurt guys. He's not going in there. You know, he doesn't go into the gym and practice 16 punch combinations like Floyd Mayweather. He really wants to hurt guys to the body. But that takes a lot out of him. And if you're a pressure fighter, you're supposed to be the guy who's always pressuring and always having the upper hand. The other guys are supposed to be tired. And I'm just rewinding this because, see, he's got his hands down, but he gets hit. He can't do it against Canelo. He's going to have to be on top of his game. Now, I'm going to pause this for a second. Chavez Jr., by the way, of course, training with Memo Heredia. And if Memo Heredia gives him that special Heredia formula and really gets his stamina up to optimal levels or elite levels, he might be able to pressure Canelo for the whole fight, but that's a big if. The book, the story on Chavez Jr. out there is that, I mean, from all the fights that we've seen him, is that he gets tired. And look, here against Fonfara again, he got very tired because he was wailing on the bigger guy, but the bigger guy wasn't going anywhere. And he was countering Chavez too, so that wore him down even more. And here he is tired. And here, ooh, see that? Just let's take a look at that again. Let's take a look at that body shot and just keep that in mind, alright? We're gonna go back to that body shot later on. See here trading with his hands down, but at least he's trying though. Here's the other thing I don't like about Chavez. We're gonna see here, I'm gonna rewind that. He complains a lot. He stops fighting and looks at the ref for help. Look at this. You're not supposed to stop in boxing unless the ref calls a timeout. Otherwise, it's game on. He's gonna get Ortized one day. And he almost got Ortized against Fonfara here, as you're gonna see here. He looks at the ref and Fonfara just jumps on him. Hey, it's fair game there, you know? And Canelo is a sportsman. He's not gonna go after him. Or at least I have never seen Canelo do anything like what Mayweather did against Ortiz. But you never know. I mean, if he pisses off Canelo, it is a fight. It's a professional fight, so don't drop your hands, stop complaining. Now we're gonna take a look at Canelo's strength. And again, just like with Chavez Jr., he's got literal strength. That's one of his main advantages. Here he is against Alfredo Angulo. I'm going to rewind a little bit here. I'm going to press play now. Look at this. Boom. Power jabs move Angulo, who's a decent-sized fighter himself. But look at those punches. From the start, Canelo was unloading the heavy artillery. And look how he moves Angulo. Now, of course, Chavez Jr. is a bigger fighter than Angulo. Excuse me. He's a bigger fighter. But still, that, as we saw, that guard can be pierced. And if Brian Vera and Marco Antonio Rubio can get through it, I expect Canelo with his power to do it as well. Now, the reason why I'm showing you a lot of Angulo and later on Liam Smith fights is because they have similar styles to Chavez Jr. The way Angulo just stands there, Mexican style, hands up, he's waiting to take shots so he can give some back. But and Chavez does the same thing. But if you do it against Canelo, look at this. He feints just like Chavez Jr. He knows how to feint. He knows how to feint to set up his artillery. I'm gonna rewind that just a little bit here. He's feinting. The guy's bicep feints, and then he starts throwing. See? Then he starts throwing the shots. He can also jab to the body, just like Chavez Jr. And then those overhand rights start coming over, those lead left hooks. He starts throwing punches from all angles afterwards. You don't know when the punches are coming. Look at that combination. Beautiful combinations, uppercuts. There he throws a right hand to the body and then feints and goes with an uppercut. Just gonna let the video speak for itself. Of course, it's gonna lag every once in a while. Gonna have to rewind that. Yeah, just gonna let you guys enjoy the combinations. He lets the combinations flow, man, let me tell you. Oh, and then he goes to the body. About as good as anybody in the game. Look at that. He even does the Chavez combination. That, remember the one I showed you there? The left hook, right uppercut, left hook. And here he is hurting Kirkland, who's a strong guy, to the body. Look at those combinations. Now, of course, I do have to say that Canelo cannot keep this pace up for too long. Like Chavez Jr., he puts everything into his shots. There's no variety of speed. He doesn't alter the speed, so everything is hard, and then what happens is he has to take a little break. So that's a plus in Chavez's book as well, because he's not going to be outworked necessarily, I don't think, by Canelo. Now remember I showed you, look at this body shot. He punches, he knows how to time those body shots perfectly. Canelo, that is. He drops Liam Smith there. Remember this? Remember that little clip there? Chavez gets a little overconfident, and when he throws that uppercut, he leaves himself open. Look at how exposed his abdomen is, especially the plexus there. He could get hurt. Rubio couldn't hurt him, but maybe Canelo will. And here's, remember those temple shots that I talked about how Chavez Jr. is open to the temple shots? Well, here Canelo hurt Kirkland early on with a shot to the temple, and Kirkland was hurt because he stopped fighting for a while there and actually backed off. As you can see here, counter-punching, defense, and footwork. Canelo is one of the best counter-punchers in the game. He was able to counter guys, or a guy like Cotto, in a straight-up boxing fight. Now you put him in against a guy like Angulo or Chavez Jr., who are slower than him, he's going to have a field day. And look how he can counter. Counters with left hooks, with right hands, over the jab, counters with combinations. I mean, here he counters with a right uppercut. And remember what I told you about Chavez overreaching? Well, here we see Liam Smith overreaching. See, he overreaches with the right hand. Canelo takes a little step back, rolls a little bit with the right hand, and then counters with a right of his own. Look at this. He can counter to the body, upstairs, downstairs. Here's one of the things I want to show you is the difference between him and Chavez Jr. is the staple of Canelo's defense, and of course he can move his head too, but the staple of his defense is a high guard, just like Chavez Jr. The difference is he actually moves a little bit. Look, see here, he's not just standing there; he's moving back, parries, moves back. So he's not just standing there taking shots. Although, as we're gonna see later on, when he gets tired, he sometimes stands there a little too much, where he should be moving. Here, however, I'm going to also show you that, just like with Chavez, he's got great defense to the body. See how he keeps that right pinned to his side, that right elbow? Look at that. Boom. And it doesn't get in, the left hook. And Liam Smith has a good left hook, just couldn't get it in. See that? And then he can roll with shots off the ropes. This thing starts lying again, but see how he rolls with the shots? Here we see some head movement. Parrying, stepping back. He has his guard high, always watching. He can rest this way, always watching the shots, and then he counters. Catches, counters. Look at, he's always attentive, always watching his opponent for counter-punching opportunities. And Chavez, this is how it's gonna go. This is how the fight should go, I should say. That's how I expect it to go. A lot of moments where Chavez is gonna have Canelo on the ropes, and Canelo is going to counter over Chavez. And see here, he can roll with the shots. Rolls with the right, blocks, parries. Now he's rolling. Very good defensive work by Canelo. Look at that. And then we go back. I remember how I showed you that Brian Vera kept Chavez Jr. turning. A lot of people say, oh, Canelo doesn't have good foot movement. Well, he does have good foot movement. It's just you don't see him using it all that much. He's not Terence Crawford in there. That's not his style. But just a couple of basic fundamentals here can get him off the ropes. Here, just pivots to his right. Again, pivots a little bit. Or he can dip to his left, to his right, I should say. See? Dips to his right and just pivots, gets close, snuffs, stuffs, smothers, I should say. Liam Smith, look at that. Whoop. Now let's take a look at some of his weaknesses. The main thing I don't like about Canelo is he tends to get a little too lethargic in there. He gets on the ropes. Here he is against James Kirkland. As early on in the first round, he allows himself to get pinned on the ropes because he figures, hey, listen, if I stay on the ropes, I'm just gonna counterpunch, right? But what happens is he gets caught. See, that's a big thudding left hand. Kirkland has similar power to Chavez Jr. in that it's power that comes from their body, from their musculature, from their size. It's not one punch knockout power. It's not the flashy type of power that you see from from Sergey Kovalev or even Terence Crawford, who I believe is an underrated puncher. But it is the type of punch that can pierce guards. And again, here he is against Liam Smith, who couldn't really hurt Canelo. But against Chavez Jr., who I've shown you is a strong puncher, maybe it's not the best idea for Canelo to stay on the ropes as much as he did, or as he does, or as he's used to against smaller guys. Here you see Liam Smith doing a nice little trick here. He lowers Canelo's left glove and comes over with a right hook. And you see here Canelo lethargic on the ropes. That's also because he gets tired. He gets tired and he allows himself, look at that. Those shots are getting through, man. Those shots are getting through. And they're not tickling him. He can take him, they're not knocking him out, they're not hurting him. But I mean, do you really want to take those type of shots against Julio Chavez Jr.? Here he got, see, again, early on, first round against Kirkland, gets caught with the left hand. And he was hurt. So you never know. Chavez Jr. could land that type of shot that hurts him. Here he is, third round after unloading his whole artillery, his whole arsenal against Angulo. And by the third round, he's already tired. Look at this. See his hands down? Just stands there and blocks shots. Oh, no, they got through. Again, here against Liam Smith as well. Shots get through. Throws a combination. Hands down. And eats some punches that he shouldn't really have eaten. At this point, see, here he could have moved. So, but why does he choose to stay in there? Because it's easy. It's easy to stand there and just block shots. But against Chavez Jr., again, might be a bad idea. Now, the other thing is that, oh, this is just more of him tired. Look at the second round. He hurt Kirkland, he dropped him, but he's tired now. Because he throws everything, Canelo is, that is with power. Everything is with power. Now he's resting here. And just to show you that he's resting and not necessarily looking for opportunities, look at this. See that he clinches. He's tired. Here again. Okay, this thing's lagging. Hold on. See here, he's not just looking for opportunities. He's trying to get some time off here. He's eating shots there, eating a couple of shots, and then he clinches. He didn't counter that time because he was tired as early on in the second round. So he's going to have to pace himself against Chavez Jr., who is the bigger guy. And by the way, also remember he has Memo Heredia in his corner. So you never know, maybe that stamina is going to go up and Canelo's going to be forced to have to fight at a higher pace than he's used to. And here is just a little something that I noticed in the Liam Smith fight. See how he jabs? Canelo jabs and he tries to control Liam Smith with the left hand. He leaves it there. He cups the back of Liam Smith's head. But see how he's open and Liam Smith hits him with the right hand. And as you're going to see here, he did it a couple of more times here. Boom. See, he gets caught there. So that's just a little something there. You never know what could happen there. So that was a BDA film analysis for what should turn out to be maybe not a significant fight in terms of legacy. There's no, as far as I know, real championship on the line. It is at a catchweight, so obviously there's no championship. We all would rather see Canelo fight Golovkin. But for the money, this might just turn out to be a good fight. Chavez is strong. If he can make Canelo fight at a pace that he's not used to, because see, that's the thing about Canelo, is he's used to laying on the ropes and countering guys. Guys like Angulo, who are slower, or Liam Smith, who's not as strong. He can do that. Or Kirkland, who's wide open for his offense. But against Chavez Jr., Chavez might not be significantly that bigger though, now that I think about it, because Canelo is a big guy himself. He's a thick guy, very muscular. He probably weighs, what, 180 when he's walking around, not trading. So, or when he comes in during fight night, he might show up 170 something. So size disparity might just be an illusion thanks to the height discrepancy between the two of them. So, but Chavez has to go in there and work. He has to make Canelo work, because Chavez is not gonna turn boxer all of a sudden. He has to pressure. And I know if he pressures, like I showed you in the film analysis, he's gonna get countered. But he has no choice. He has to make it a fight. He has to dig in and make it a war. He's in a win-win situation here. If he loses, hey, he was supposed to lose. But if he wins, boy oh boy, that's a huge upset right there and the biggest win of his career. So that was a BDA film analysis. I invite you guys to check out our other analysis we've done, or post-fight analysis as well, which we do. We also did a Timothy Bradley footwork analysis, like I mentioned earlier, and check those out. Leave some comments, subscribe. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this video. Tell me what I missed, what I got right, what I got wrong. Did I get anything wrong? I don't know. You tell me, right, guys? Come on. It's the boxing debate arena. It should look that way. It's starting to look that way, by the way. Good job. But need a couple of more comments there. Alright, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that one. And we'll see you on the next one.